Hey folks, Rob Hannes here at the Preparedness Podcast, the podcast that brings you the best in preparedness information. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, what? Another podcast in the same week? Wow, this is great. Well, here's what we're doing, where I'm trying to get a bunch of interviews going. I've been interviewing some people, bringing some great information to you, and I've got them available and sitting here, so I'm just going to go ahead and push them out as I get them. No sense in sitting on them. Considering I already put out a podcast yesterday and made a bunch of announcements, I'm just going to go right to this interview, which is with Tom from campingsurvival.com. So I have Tom from campingsurvival.com on the line with me, and we're talking about his site and the products. And Tom is a sponsor of the podcast, and as I had mentioned in the last episode, I wanted to talk more about the sponsors because, as I've mentioned before, the sponsors we have, I think, are great. You know, they have great products, or a great line of products, or they're doing good work to, bring a variety of products to the prepper and the survivalist, or even the camping fan. And so today we're going to talk with Tom from Camping Survival. Camping Survival has been sponsoring the podcast for a number of months now. And one of the things I like about this site is that it's got so much stuff on here that you can go through, and you can pick up stuff for fire starting and water filtering and parachute cord, and they're continually adding new products. And so you can go back every once in a while and you're not seeing the same old things. And so if you're looking for a new solution for one of your aspects of your preparedness plan, this is a great place to go. Tom, good morning and welcome to the podcast. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, good morning, Rob. Thanks for having me on. I'm pretty excited about this. I don't know if I mentioned it, but I've never really done anything like this before. I do a lot of YouTube videos and such, and we're very active on social media, but this is new for me, so I'm pretty excited about it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being here. Before I forget, tell us about the YouTube stuff you're doing.
Oh, yeah. If you go to YouTube Camping Survival, we try and put a video out once or twice a week, and there's quite a few up there. And how it comes up, actually, is I'll be sitting in the office, and either we'll get a new product or I'll just get a bug, and I'll see something. Hey, I haven't talked about this product yet, or that product, and either I'll go back in the back of the warehouse and just shoot a quick video in a couple minutes, or we'll even run out in the woods or something and maybe even cook something up. We just did that recently. So that's what we do. We just shoot quick videos on products, or once in a while we even do an edible plant video. I study edible and medicinal plants and have a lot of fun with that. And they're just quick, fun little videos, and I enjoy doing it. I think our customers like it too.
Yeah, you got quite a number of videos here, some good information, and I know, like me, people are always looking for some more information. Yeah, you got quite a bit here.
I was just saying, I love it because if you go on our website, we try and give as much information as possible. I'm always telling the people I work with that, my customers love details, so we try and get lots of images and lots of text, but still, looking at an item on the website is still not even as good as going in a store, but that's the advantage of the YouTube. It's still not like you're touching the product yourself, but I get to hold it up and open it up and tell you a little bit about it, and that's why I like YouTube. It's just it's more information and a better perspective on the product, so it helps you make a decision on whether you want it or not.
That's great. I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm looking up these videos here, and I'm thinking, I'm going to have to come back and watch that one. I'm going to have to watch that one. Because information is one of the things that we preppers are always looking for. And that's one of the things I noticed in your site. You have survival resources. If you go to the site, in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see a little compass, and it says, like a little tag that says survival resource. You got a bunch of articles there that help convey information on how to do things. Now, are these linked to yours? Oh, no, I see what they're linked to other sites that have good information, too, like Ice for Safety.
Yeah. Right. Ice for Safety is a friend of mine. Mark Balduzzi, really terrific guy. He's got some good information on there. The other two sites that I'm really proud of, it's urbansurvivalstories.com and wildernesssurvivalstories.com. And they're broken down by section. So there's two different websites, and we've collected these stories from our customers. These are actually customers of ours that have had various experiences, like wilderness survival stories. Going into the woods unprepared. I love the woods. I have since I was a kid, and it's just a great place for me. But we all make mistakes, and the cool thing about that website is some people humble themselves enough to detail their screw-ups. They didn't do this or they didn't do that, and they write the story for us, and they put us up there, and I think they're just terrific reads. I don't think there's anything like either one of those sites out there. Urban Survival Stories and wildernesssurvivalstories.com. They're both fun, enjoyable reads, and there's real information in there too to help people grow and learn themselves.
Yeah, that's great. I love the informational aspect about it, because that's what we do in the podcast, is we try to take the experiences that I have, and that's what I only try to really talk about my own experience or things that I researched really well and can confidently say I know this. And the fact that you've got stories there from real people telling about real survival situations and stuff, that's great learning material. Everybody should go check that out. One of the things I just noticed on your site, really like this idea, is these Canteen cup lids. That is really cool.
Yeah, actually the manufacturer contacted us about that a while ago. I think it's a cool idea too.
And you got not just one, you got two different ones to choose from, which is a great concept. Now, are these new, or have I just missed these?
No, they are relatively new. I believe within the past year. They just invented them, came out with them, and they do pretty well. I mean, you're a former Marine, as am I, and I've lived out of my Canteen cup. I've dug with it. I've brushed my teeth in it. I've eaten with it, drank purified water. My Canteen cup, and I still use it to this day. There's so many other ways to carry that type of cooking instrument in your pack, but I still go for the Canteen cup. I absolutely love it, and maybe it's the memories from the Marine Corps and the different things I've done, but it's such a great tool, and to have a lid for it as well is nice.
Yeah, well, I have this exact same Canteen cup that I've carried when I was in the Corps. Actually, the same Canteen cup, Canteen stove, and Canteen cover are on my main pack. And I was just telling, I took my kids day camping a couple days ago, and I pulled it out to use the cup, and I was telling them about it. This is the exact same system that I used when I was in the Marines, and they were like, "Oh, cool!" But I mean, it shows very little wear, and having a lid for it was one of those things. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, it'd be great if I had a lid. Now, the reason I wanted a lid is because it always seemed that the ash, when I was warming up stuff in the Canteen cup, would kind of float into the water, and then you'd have ashy water, which this would have been. I wish I would have had one of these back then. Yeah.
It's funny how that works out. I mean, you get ashy water, and it's like, whatever, drink it. But it's better not to have it in there. The kids too. In fact, I recently was out with the kids too, and we made some pine needle tea in my Canteen cup, and you get all kinds of crud in there. I don't think I had my cover with me actually at that point in that pack, and it would have been nice to.
Yeah. Did you say you made pine tea for your kids?
Oh yeah, pine needle tea. The white pine. I don't know if you're familiar with the white pine, but you actually make a high vitamin C tea out of it, and it's very tasty.
Okay, I've tried that once before. Back in the college days, I used tea because you can get vitamin C by steeping pine needles, and so I thought I'd try it. And wow, it was so bitter, and I had no sugar with me, and I'm like, I don't know if I can drink this. Luckily, I didn't have to. But the white pine, you say, is tastier or sweeter?
Oh, absolutely. It's my favorite. They say that all pines are edible at some level, but the white pine, it's interesting you say it was bitter. Whatever one you had, white pine is not bitter at all. It's very tasty. What I do is I get the water to boiling, and then I take it off, and then I steep the needles in there for like 5 or 10 minutes, and it's just very tasty after that. put a little honey in there too. We sell honey too, by the way. We're selling a ton of honey, but I like to carry a little bit of that on the trail too.
Yeah, so you got the honey here. And that's, you know what? You do a great job. Every time I go to your site, you're always highlighting something different, whether it's in the today's deal or up in the main part of the website where you're rotating different objects and stuff. Because every time I go there, I'm like, oh, I didn't know you carried that. Like the Canteen cups. You said you've had them for a year. You know, I only noticed it because one of the pages I clicked on had a highlight on that. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting, Sue. Something else just popped into my head. You were mentioning all the products we have. I believe we have like 16,000 products on our website, so there's
nice.
A lot there. And there's really, I don't think there's anyone else out there like us. So kind of the concept behind us, there's a couple things. It's camping survival. So you come on the site and you'll notice we don't have a lot of necessarily just tents and camping gear. It really is about survival and preparedness. That's what I'm personally into. And the site kind of softens that whole thing up. So let's say you know how sensitive these types of things are. Let's say a husband or wife goes and buys something from Camping Survival. It's not so much like they're buying survival gear; they're buying camping gear. So it might be a little more acceptable. But you'll notice that with all the products on our site, it's almost like it's my own preparedness. There's a wide variety of type of stuff, but it's all the stuff that I personally like and use, and that's how I decide to put something on the site. If I'm out hiking with friends, or I go to a store and I see something that's neat, I'll often buy it, play with it, test it, and then get a hold of the manufacturer. And that's often how we get new things in the site. So if you look at paracord, canned foods, long shelf life, freeze dried, water storage, you go down through our categories. It's kind of this is the stuff you need for wilderness and urban survival, and it's my stuff. It's almost like a like kind of a map of the stuff that I personally like and use, and that's kind of how it came about. Is I test out a product and boom, I put it on the site, and we've built it up over jeepers. I don't know how many years, 10 plus years. We've been around since 1956, actually, my company, but. Lots of cool stuff on the site. I have a lot of fun with it.
Oh, yeah. You got a lot of good stuff. And I agree, camping and survival are very close related. Oftentimes when I'm trying to find a solution, either for my pack or for my go bags or something, I will often go to the camping sites because it's closely related. I might need a solution, a better solution or a different solution for water filtration or water storage or something. I mean, for example, water storage, I use Aquatainers, which is purely a camping thing. You're not going to find – there are no survival stores. You have to go to the Army Navy surplus or camping stores or whatever and hope they have something. And that's what I like about this site is you got so many good stuff. You even have the in fact, we're running the banner now. You've got the KIO3s, the potassium iodate pills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those things are going –
That's good. I hope so because I know people had a hard time when Fukushima went up. That suddenly there's a big interest in it, and I one of the things I'm trying to convey in the podcast is that preppers, you need to be concerned about what's happening now, but you need to be looking ahead at potential issues, even if they're not in the mainstream news, and even if nothing's happening right now. Fukushima is still a huge, extreme environmental disaster, but nobody's really concerned about getting radiation supplies. Now's a good time to get them. Pandemic flu is a little bit of a issue in China, but nobody's making a big stink about it. Now's a good time to start thinking about those things. And I love that banner when you sent it over and we put it right up because I think that's exactly where people should be thinking is think of the next potential disaster and start preparing for that. Because like now, if you're trying to get guns and ammo now, good luck.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's funny. I'm glad you brought that up. The whole KIO3 thing. It's going pretty well right now. We generally stay pretty steady with it. I think it's another important part of preparedness. It's not just going to stand on its own, but I'm really excited about something I did recently. I don't know if you're familiar with Medical Core, the manufacturer of our potassium,
Mm-hmm.
but Chuck Fenwick owns Medical Core, and he's a former Navy corpsman, Vietnam veteran. He was with Marine Recon units. He's got a ton of experience, and he's a medical guy, and he still does this stuff. And so he and I have known each other for years, and I've taken a combat medicine class from him. And I recently flew down to his home in Ohio, and he and I spent 2 days together, and I interviewed him about KIO3 because there's so much either bad or unknown information about KIO3 out there. Some people won't buy it because they just simply don't understand it. And so Chuck and I spent quite a bit of time, and I've actually got a video. In fact, if you're listening now, go to YouTube Camping Survival and subscribe to us. We hope to come out with a video in about, like a week or so, where I interview Chuck, and he answers. He's a great guy, too, but he answers some really good questions that I ask him, and these questions come right from our customers. And so I'm really looking forward to that. Make sure you please stay tuned for that, everyone.
Well, I'm going to be looking forward to that because I know that the potassium iodate is good stuff. Every prepper should have it. Actually, everybody who lives close to a nuclear power plant should have it. But it's good to have because when you need it, you're unlikely to get it. You know, people freaking out in Fukushima. But let's say that happened here. Let's say it happened at one of we have 3 Mile Island, which is about 50 miles to the west of us. They like to say that only people within 10-mile radius are in danger. Yeah, right. I'm certainly not going to believe that. They didn't tell us about any of the radiation that came over from Japan. They didn't tell us about any of the issues that we had on any number of things. Don't wait for them to say, start taking it. Don't wait for them to say, you may want to get some of this. We need to plan and prepare ahead of time. So yeah, I'll be looking for that too. You say about a week?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we have to edit it and go through it, and there's so much other stuff going on here that it's hard to get to it. But Chuck, and it's interesting you mentioned that. Chuck and I have been talking about that for years. Kind of actually frustrated about every time something happens. It's the same thing as like storms coming and people go to to the store and clear out the shelves of bread and milk. Anything whatsoever happens, the manufacturers, boom, they dry up within a day or two. Our stock, and we have a lot of stock here, but it goes really quick. That's why, again, that's the whole thing about preparedness. And the government does stockpile this type of thing, but think about that. I mean, they don't. How would they get it in your hands?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way if anything were to happen that the government stockpiles would be any use whatsoever. We you got, as our whole preparedness world revolves. You just got to take care of yourself and your family and plan ahead a little bit. That's all.
And I mean, we've had recent example. I mean, you can go back as far as Katrina, but you don't even have to look at Hurricane Sandy. They were completely incapable of handling that. Look at the Boston bombing. The leaders were completely inept and incapable of handling that emergency. Now, I think the police did their job, but their job wasn't focused on citizen safety. It wasn't focused on organization and leadership. It was focused on getting the bombers and stuff. But look how long it took for them to ramp up to a point where they actually had a handle on things. And that was a extremely small, isolated incident. If terrorists were to attack us and hit several cities like that, say 12 to 24 bombs in each of the major 10 top cities, it would be pandemonium. Nobody would know what's going on. Look, Hurricane Sandy, they knew it's coming. They had days warning, and they still couldn't get it together enough to make sure that everybody was warned and prepared, and they were prepared to react. So, I mean, it's the same story over and over again, and what it points to is that you have to prepare yourself. You have to make sure. But man, you even got night vision on here.
Yeah, actually, getting back to it's kind of exciting to hear you say that, because I remember right after the Boston bombing, I remember they did an interview with one of the doctors that, like right after, the people came into the hospital and they were responding immediately. And what he said was interesting to me. A lot of people were not organized, and it was hard to get up and running and trying to figure out where to go, as with any disaster. But this hospital had actually planned for this type of thing, and they run drills periodically. So, and they stress themselves out a bit. They add a little stress, and they run the drills. So when the actual thing does happen, they're not running around like maniacs. It flowed smoothly. They ended up taking care of the people at this specific hospital very well, because almost like they had done it before. And it's funny how so many people out there get mocked for preparedness and planning and all this type of thing, but then you see a hospital doing it because it makes sense and it works. The preparation and planning, it always pays off.
Yes, it does. It absolutely does. Yeah, you got water storage, water filters, night vision, tools and fire starters, compasses and signals. I mean, you've got a lot of stuff. That's why I love this site. I love this site because you even got pet products here. And that's great because, I don't know if you know, we had a dog that we lost just a little bit ago, but she was part of the family, and she was a part of our biological security system. I didn't need any electricity, but yet I knew that I would be warned if, any stranger or anything bad was happening around. She would be alert to it far faster than we were. Bath and hygiene, toys and game. You got flags and posters and stuff. It's just, I really like this site, and I think that, you, the listener, should check it out, because I know there's stuff on here that you need for your preparedness gear and supplies. When you make your plan. Another thing I love about the site is you go through it and you get idea. Oh, I didn't know that. Like that Canteen cup. I didn't know that Canteen cup existed, but using one for a long time, whether you're day camping or doing a grid down scenario or military experience or whatever it is, the more experience you have, the more you start thinking of solutions. Oh, I wish I could do this. Wish I could do this. I used to try to use aluminum foil as a lid for the can, and foil wears out after a while, and it doesn't, especially if it's in the fire, kind of gets blackened and it's kind of sooty and stuff. So I never found that a really great solution. But when you're going through a site like this and you got all these different products, you go through, you're like, oh yeah, that would make a great solution for whatever it is I need to do. So guys, I think you should definitely check this out. And Tom is gracious enough to offer a 5% discount for anybody who calls and mentions PrepCast as the discount code. Can they use it in the cart as well?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, that's where it gets most of its use, is on the website, because there's so many people on our website. There's a field for coupon code. Just enter PrepCast. The coupon code is PrepCast, and it takes 5% right off your order, just like that. And that can offset your shipping. I mean, it's a significant savings.
It's I love that, and I'm very thankful that you extend it to the listeners. So, folks, check out the site. I know you're going to love it. Not only is there great products there that you're going to need for various solutions in your preparedness plan, but they have information resources. They've got not only information on their site, they got information on other sites. They got the YouTube channel, so they're constantly giving out all this education. And that's one of the reasons that I like Camping Survival as a sponsor, is because it's not just about making money. It's about giving back to the community. It's about educating people. It's about providing good products for a decent price. And I've seen a lot of websites where you find something and it's not it's even beyond retail. They've got the manufacturer suggested retail, and some places they tack on like more to it, and they just like they rip you off as much, and yours isn't that way, and I really like that. So I got to say, I love your site, and folks, you need to check it out. That's campingsurvival.com. Tom, I want to thank you for your time this morning. Really appreciate you coming on and spending some time with us.
You bet, Rob. I appreciate your time as well. It was terrific. I loved kind of hanging out with you today and chatting about survival and preparedness. I'm thankful you had me on today. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. And do me a favor, when you get that video up with Chuck from Medical Corps, let me know so I can make a post about that, because I think that's one of the things that people need to prepare about is nuclear preparedness, because it's one of those events that when it happens, you're not going to be able to wait for mail order or UPS to ship anything. You need to have it on hand right then and there.
Bingo. Go ahead right now. Go to YouTube Camping Survival and subscribe to us, and you'll get notified as soon as it comes up.
Done.
Yeah, I'm excited about that one.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Thank you, Rob. Have a nice day.
So there you have it. My thanks to Tom from CampingSurvival.com for taking the time to talk with me and talk about the site and him and his philosophy on why he put the site together, and a little background on him. The next podcast is going to be an interview with Carrie Lutz from FinancialSurvivalNetwork.com, and that is looking to be a good interview as well. So until next time, enjoy life and be safe.